This is the sound of the suburbs. Yeah. This is the sound of the suburbs. This is the sound of the
You see, this says this is a bus lane, and yet if you go into the one that isn't a bus lane, you can see, well, buses coming straight for you. Perhaps this is some kind of academic joke that thickos like me, O-level kids, don't get. I'm quite fond of Oxford, despite the fact that our son Thomas got turned down for a place at Oxford Brookes University. Several years ago, I did a bit better than him and actually made it inside one of the university colleges for an extraordinary dinner where I rubbed shoulders with people like the Bishop of Durham. I never knew why I was invited. I don't to this day, and I've never been invited back. This is the place that I went to, I think. One of these along here. For the Feast of St Cuthbert. It's fantastic. It's some of the best food, certainly the best wine I've ever drunk in my life. They were quite interested in the fact that I was so fucking stupid. I think seriously is the case. I think a lot of them were quite interested because they'd never met anybody so stupid before. Do you know what I mean? Or so lacking in qualifications. They were all they were really sweet. The university looms large over Oxford, partly due to the imposing architecture, and partly because students get under your feet wherever you go. 27,000 of them attend Oxford and Oxford Brookes universities. But there's another side to Oxford that often goes unseen. Just over Magdalen Bridge, or Magdalen if you want to annoy the students, and most of us do, the architecture changes abruptly and you're on the Cowley Road. With 5 live music venues, 2 nightclubs, 10 pubs and 31 assorted restaurants, the Cowley Road is at the very heart of Oxford's music. The innovation and experimentation that go on here are equal to anything happening behind the hallowed walls of the university, and possibly a lot more fun. Here at the Zodiac, I'm about to get my first taste of such innovation, a performance by experimental DJs, Project Dark. What is it that you think you're doing?
Basically, enjoying ourselves in a way that, how can I describe it? It's a collision of personalities that happened by accident, and we thought, let's go and try that.
Look, show some of the silly records. Oh, that one is a particular favourite, the section of Tree.
The Biscuit is another people's favourite.
But you actually, in the yes, this is
some of them initially we did all the really obvious, simple things like...
This really is a biscuit.
That's a biscuit. I was working in Denmark. We'd already made the obvious things like the sandpaper, the ones you can just go and do it.
A sandpaper one wouldn't be obvious to absolutely everyone. I'm sure it's not occurred to like the Verve. Let's do a sandpaper.
This is the Finnish sandpaper. This is the English sandpaper.
This is the kind of promotional copy.
This is the American sandpaper. So we've got every kind of sandpaper.
Excellent. So you must get first. I mean, on a practical level, you must get through a stupendous number of styluses.
Bizarrely not. They're diamond and they actually last forever.
That's the disco single.
But the thing is, you stick monotones up and you try them and you play them, and then you realise that the sounds that they make are actually quite astonishing, and they're quite difficult to deal with because they're not normal sounds. So it's not like saying it's a guitar, but on the other hand, with a bit of processing and a bit of careful listening and...
I've got a record which I think would fit very well into your concept, as I understand it, which is it's a 7-inch EP, but rather advanced technology, but it's of the sewage pumping station in Shrewsbury.
Fantastic.
Okay, well I shall loan it to you. Provided we hang a sign on the front saying that the sewage pumping station is from the John Peel collection.
It's been said that there are more bands in Oxford per head of population than anywhere else in Britain, although who said it, history does not reveal. All these
bands face the problem of where to rehearse. Any garage, bedroom, belfry or basement will do. Dustball have recently released their first album on small independent Oxford label Shifty Disco. Like many young bands I've met and subsequently slept with, they benefit enormously from parental backup in the form of free food and lodging, transport and moral support, provided in this case by Tarrant the bass player's mum.
Well, in this family we have a 9-year-old girl and an 18-year-old girl, and Tarrant takes his hair out of their choice of music. Yeah. But it does mean that there's a wide variety that's played in the kitchen. I bought my mini set to listen to classical music and I never get a chance. Yeah.
Tell us about the kind of start of the band, how it all got going.
It's a pretty normal story. Just sort of left school, everyone else goes travelling to Australia or wherever they go now to get their dreads, and we just took a year out, intending to go to college.
So have you sacrificed your futures for rock and roll?
We just thought, we'll do it for a year and we'll see how it goes for a year.
Yeah.
And then, if it goes well and sort of we do go to college or something, when we come back on holidays, we'll still have a laugh with the band. And it sort of got better that year. It sort of went quite well and better. We thought, we're quite enjoying it, so let's have another year.
Because education is a continuing thing. I mean, you could still go presumably in 5 years' time if you were so minded.
We're at college now, actually.
Oh, you are? Oh, yeah. I didn't realise that.
Yeah, we started in September.
Oh, I see. So really, you just fit this in around your education?
No, we fit our education around this.
Yeah, that sounds agonisingly familiar. I mean, it's our children seem to fit it around rather less worthy pursuits, like staying in bed.
Oxford's population varies with the seasonal ebb and flow of students, some 5,500 of them from overseas. But a more permanent population change resulted from the forward-thinking activities of a humble bicycle repairman. William Morris opened his cycle shop in Oxford's town centre in 1892. By 1925, he was making 41% of all Britain's cars at his Cowley factory, now a Rover plant. The business continued to expand, and many of the people invited over from the West Indies in the 1950s and 60s found themselves at Cowley, building cars such as the Morris Minor and the Mini. Pianist Pat Thomas's father was one of them.
So who worked here? Your dad?
My dad and my brother still work here.
Yeah? Well, your brother does. Is your dad?
He's sort of he's retired now.
Yeah. Notice that I'm standing on the pavement to make myself seem as tall as you, Pat. I'm not a fool.
Pat Thomas is a seriously versatile pianist who in his 38 years has played everything from classical and jazz to swing beat and hip-hop. His latest project is an experimental jazz jungle album, released rather bizarrely by a label based in Hawaii. Pat and I walked up to the Morris Motors Athletic and Social Club, where Pat used to play cricket, to have a drink. Since the car factory scaled down its operation, the club has suffered, its membership down from 12,000 to only 4,000.
I started when I was 8, and what had happened, basically I was watching the TV, and this is really corny. Liberace was on the box. Great big, these, so you're about 7, and you see this fantastic thing, I didn't even know what it was. Candles everywhere, lights everywhere, and there's this guy sort of just playing it, and I said, I want to play that. So I started, you start sort of pretending you've got this great big instrument, and our mother noticed that I kept doing all this all the time, and she goes, would you like to play the piano? And at the time I didn't know what I said, yeah, I'd like to play the piano, but the sort of pianos you get to see weren't quite the same. You could get the old upright, you get this upright piano and no candles or anything.
When did you first play, as it were, outside the home?
I think my first outside gig would have been about 12, 13. The school orchestra had to do something at the town hall.
I mean, did you play classical stuff as well?
Yeah, I was doing the Mozart and all that stuff, yeah. And then about 16, I saw Oscar Peterson on the box. Sort of being a black player, and suddenly seeing this a black piano player, that was the first thing that probably attracted me, and he was playing this jazz stuff. And
being taken seriously too.
Yeah.
The Morris Motors Athletic and Social Club's finest sporting days might be over, but a little way up the road is another sporting establishment that's hanging in there. I'm off up there to indulge in one of my favourite activities, covering myself in essence of banana and being licked by spaniels. Just kidding.